the financial pressures on a man can really push him to that point. I still have this point on my paper, but you know, I am not endorsing it. The postnatal depression, no. Asafo Kofi, good morning to you.
Good morning, Edem, and good morning to the listeners.
How are you?
I'm great. And it's amusing that you started with the postpartum or postnatal depression.
You don't have that problem, do you?
No, I don't at all.
You don't, do you?
I'm past that.
No,
Great.
But I've heard one before.
You've heard one?
When the man called someone and said, Chief, there's a problem. There's a problem. He said, what is the problem? My wife has suddenly delivered.
And that is a problem.
Then they said,
the man went into shock.
Stop talking nonsense. Your wife has been pregnant for
9 months. Exactly.
So what were you expecting?
Thank you.
You see, that is why Mama T, I said last week that one will not count it because I can imagine we want to be pregnant. Pressure, you are doing all the work. Then the woman is pregnant. You call your baby has come. You say I'm depressed. Oh wow! Please, men, you cannot
that kind of depression.
No. That depression, Charlie, will convey it out of your system. That why you don't need a psychologist. We need to recalibrate you. Take you back to the days when you were doing an Nigeria there. Stop. Now, we also learned last week that, sex is a basic need for humanity. Less of it can frustrate you. And especially so when women use it as rewards for their men. You did this for me, so get it. You didn't do this, so I will not give it to you. And men, I've practically heard that some men go on their knees and beg just to be allowed once.
You don't have
even for just few minutes.
It doesn't happen to him, so don't worry.
But I've heard, is it
true?
Oh,
it's true.
You pay.
Yes.
You are made to pay.
Yes. Yes.
I won't go into that one. How?
It's interesting, right?
No, Mama T, is madness.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
But I think that affirms the point Kobe made last week, that a lot of men end up with women who don't love them. Of course, if you don't love the man, you can treat him anyhow. You can ask him to pay before you are able to allow him to, enjoy the pleasure of your body. So we ended up establishing last week some of the reasons men become overwhelmed, some of the things that push them to the wall, and those are some of the things I recapped. And I remember that Ariel went into the male toxicity or masculine toxicity or however they call it. Within the week, I was having a certain conversation with Enimwa around it. Enimwa, good morning to you. And I was asking, so seriously, women cannot be wrong unless men are wrong. Like, unless a man is wrong, a woman is right. Is that what it is? He says, no, I said, but that is what it is. Like, every time we say a woman has done something, it is because a man is wrong. Yes. So how is it that, like, you can't be wrong? If you're wrong and it is pointed out to you, it is because the man has done something. Yeah. And we went on and on that argument. And I said, I'm not sure how you will argue this out, but me, I will not buy that argument. There are things that women, I've seen men become a shadow of themselves because they have women sitting on top of pumping, you understand, and dealing with them. And you found men crying just because they can't get their ways around their women. And it is not because the men in themselves are toxic. Yeah. So we can't generalize and say that every time a woman is wrong, it is because a man has been wrong. Yes. And we went on that argument.
If you decide to conduct a study right now, believe you me, you can sample 1,000 men. 80 of them will refuse to speak.
True.
Or if they do, they will not tell you the truth.
Yes.
Because of the shame of him having to tell you what is going on in his room.
I agree with you. I agree with you. That I totally agree with you. So this morning, and I remember when we closed, we started a certain conversation outside, and that's where I want us to start from. So we have established it that some women can also be truly toxic. Some women can push the men to the wall. And if you're a woman who is thinking about getting into that space, this conversation is for you. Because by the end of the conversation today, we're not trying to break homes or create, unrest in the home. But if that is your agenda as a woman, then we'll also empower the men against you. Especially those who need the empowering. Because there are some who will just be there and watch you just, mess their lives up. So, for women, this is how I want us to start. For these things that we have outlined that women do sometimes, forget about whether the man was wrong or not. That's not our focus this morning. But these are the things that you do. And a man feels like this is not good enough. I want us to start from talking to the woman. We are holding sex from them. They have financial issues. And how do we treat them? Just because he's unable to provide, for lack of a better word, he becomes a kwasiampeni, and then that is how you end up treating him in front of your children. You lash at him and everything. We've talked about the fact that some of them go through a lot of psychological issues because of how we... Now, a lot of things are coming up about men realizing that the children they are fathering are not even their children. Yeah. Plenty of it. Every day you hear some. I wonder, what new trend that is. So for all of these things we do that make our men feel truly small. Mama T. Ariel, good morning to you. I'm not seeing you.
Oh, sorry.
But I can hear you. Great. Good morning.
Good morning, Edem.
Hey, you and I still owe ourselves a date. It must happen. I want us to start talking to the women. Mama Tia, I wanted to start with you, but I won't start with you. I'll start with the men. What do you expect? What do men expect from their woman? Especially one that you call yours, who might be putting you down. What's the expectation? What do we want from them? Let me start with you. Okay, yeah, Reverend.
Oh, all right.
So my guest, I haven't introduced them. Forgive me. Sure. Reverend Kofi Boateng Esquire is here with in the studio with us. Mama T, Osaf Mohammed with swag. Mrs. Teresa Riafia Sante, family life counselor. A good one at that. Also for Kofi, the same. They are here with us. And then Kobna Atavedu is here with us. He is a relationship enthusiast. Please, has the post changed?
Let's keep it at that.
Okay, all right. And then Ariel, the wellness coach, is on Zoom with us this morning. Reverend Kofi Boateng.
Okay, so first of all, I would say that, good morning again, a woman's need for information can drive her to cause or to push the husband to the edge. Because, for instance, when a man is going through all kinds of troubles, they have problems at work with the business, financial problems, and so on and so forth, and they don't want to talk. It frustrates their wives or their female partners. They want to know, because women generally have a need for information. They want to know what's going on in your life. They want to know why things are not getting done. They want to know why you're moody. However, because the man is afraid to have this conversation, he withdraws further. And that further withdrawal also frustrates the woman further. And then she pushes, and then that is what men will, term nagging. You're nagging, and when I come home, you're all over the place, and I don't have my peace of mind. That pushes the man to an edge. So I would say that the first thing I would say today is that men need women who would exhibit lots of patience for them. When they are not talking, there are nicer ways of trying to find out what's going on. When they are moody, there are ways that you can find out what's going on with your man or with your husband without having to nag, without having to provoke him, without having to abuse him, without having to be confrontational. Find a way that you can get him to speak to you, to speak to you about his fears, to speak to you about all the major concerns that he has. And especially when a man feels that he will be judged when he speaks his concerns or his troubles to you, it will not make it any easier for him to speak to you. So how do you react when they are able to share their fears, when they are able to speak up? So lots and lots of patience and tact in communication will be useful.
Great. So yeah, tact and patience in communication. Kobe.
All right. So I'll put them in two broad groups.
Okay.
The first one is the basic needs of a man. A man needs affection, love. It is not good for a man to be alone. Let's make for him a helpmate. The next one, a man has need for sex. Paul said it.
Please,
do not deny one
Kobe,
another.
Wait. A man needs affection. Please, how do you people want to be shown affection?
We'll come to that. Let me itemize
You want
them.
to itemize them, okay. You mean the affection is one and sex is one on its own?
On its own.
Hey.
Affection and love. You see,
Affection is different.
sex
Yes.
is an
I
expression.
thought it was part of it.
No, sex is an
Ah,
expression of the emotions.
Okay. Of the affection.
Yes.
Of the affection, yes.
And that one must stand on its own.
It's the highest form of expression you would find
Yeah.
between two people, intimate people. And there's a big difference between sex and lovemaking. They're not the same. And lovemaking is the apex.
Is that the third one?
No.
Okay.
The third
Part
one.
of the second one.
So this love, sex. The next one is respect. The fourth one is peace of mind. A man goes out there and comes home and wants to come home to peace. And the peace starts with as soon as he opens the door to enter his sanctuary, the state of the place. So you find that very melancholic men, one of the biggest challenges they have is melancholic men are very organized and structured. When they enter the room and there's a plate sitting on the center table in the living room and a cup lying here and this lying there, immediately their mood changes.
Off.
Everything goes off. So love, sex, respect, and then
Peace of mind.
peace of mind. That is the first group. The next group
Hey.
is the reason why we marry.
Okay.
The first one is for companionship. You want your spouse to be your friend. Now, most spouses are keeping their friends from their spouses. And that is the biggest sign. We sometimes ignore it. We say that your friend should not be my friend or your friend is not my friend. But in reality, show me your friend and I'll show you your character. Evil communications ruin good morals. So who your spouse's friend is an indication of who you are. Because what has light got to do with darkness? So companionship. The next one is procreation. And that is where sex comes in. The third one, it is a remedy. Marriage is a remedy for sin. And Paul enumerated it in 1 Corinthians 7. Then the fourth one is for mutual support. So when you get into your low moments and your spouse is not available to give you support, the question you ask yourself is, why am I here? And if you fail to address these 8, it's grouped in 4, two groups of 4.
Section A, section B.
It's a problem. Yeah, like WAEC exam.
That's why I exam.
Then there's a problem.
All right.
We here.
I have like Mama T. I have a lot of questions around this.
Let's go.
Hey. First off, we have to learn to be patient, even if the information is not coming. we need to be tactful and patient in communication. Please, you should be writing them down. Me, I've written mine down.
I am writing paper, no
Write
person.
them down. My dear sisters, we don't want our men to commit suicide, please. So be tactful and be patient in communication. Even if they are not talking, especially so when your man is the talkative, the bubbly type, and then all of a sudden he's not talking so much, and you see that, and it's not like he's going out and he's chilling. If he's not going out, he doesn't have anything important to do. The person is home, doesn't want to talk, and things like that, and you are frustrated. We are learning that is not the time for you to start nagging, for you to start being confrontational, for you to start being abusive and being all over the place with the person. This is your man. So find tactful ways of getting the information out of him. Eventually, when that information is given to you, I like the way it is flowing. When that information is given to you, and that's what Kofi says, and Kobe says, and you realize that the person is in his low mood. That is why all of these things are going on. That is when you kick in a lot of the love and affection. Make sure that the sex to the height of love making is kicking in. Please listen, no, I'm telling you a beautiful story. The sex, then you do the sex. Mama T will say, don't go and ride bicycle. No, do it well to the point where it is, love making. In that, you are showing him a lot of respect as well. It's not like because now that he is down, you come and sit on top of his head. Show him respect and all of that, and be his peace of mind. Please. I want to believe that at that point where the man is low, procreation is not one of the things on his mind. Otherwise, that is where he will become postnatally depressed.
At that time, you actually pray that he can get it up.
Exactly. There's a direct correlation between the ability to maintain it and the mood of the person.
But we have talked about the sex and the love making, not the procreation, because that's why you may be depressed. At that point in time, you marry, you two are married also because you want to be companions to each other. It is at that point that you will have to let him feel like you've got me and I've got you, and be there for them. So companionship, it may have been there, but you have to even kick it and activate it even more. Yeah. Then remember that if you are not being supportive and being there for him in all these ways I have talked about, then having you in his life, which is a remedy for sin for him, will be erased. And then he may be looking elsewhere, and God will ask you as well. And then the mutual support. I've just told a very beautiful story. Mama T, let me come to you. We are talking to us, you know.
Of course.
How do we keep our men sane?
Good morning, everyone. Listening to my precious brothers here. Last week after here, I took to the street and I actually tried to ask questions, husbands, a lot of questions. I was glad enough to talk to about 12 men.
Oh, wow.
And gladly they were willing to share.
Okay.
I asked him later, like, why are you sharing with me? Is it because I want to do something with it? Do you share with your wives also when they want this information? They told me a lot. In fact, a lot. I was amazed at the kind of information I received. They have mentioned a few of them. At the end of the day, I noticed that, wow, there's so much women have to do for their men. And some way, somehow, many of us have not been told. For some of us, or some women out there, you lived with your parents in a family home, wherever, and you noticed what they were doing over time. And you thought that is how it must happen. A man must be man enough to take care of the home things. Then after that, he receives respect. So if he is not taking care of things, especially financial, then he does not deserve any respect. So I also spoke to a lot of women. For last week, I did a lot of work. I am asking, why can't you respect your husband? He said, well, after the marriage, I am there. But the man is not doing anything. What kind of respect does he need? The man who can't pay his children's fees. Really? A man who can't give chop money. A man who can't supply this. What kind of respect do you need? You are as handsome as your pocket. Nice. And yes. And so I am wondering. Yes. And I am wondering, when you, in fact, yesterday talking to one woman, I asked her, she told me she's getting ready to leave. Do you have an ordinance marriage? She said yes. Does for better, for worse mean anything to you? She said, that one, it is a scam. That one, it is a scam. It's the pastors who have written something for us to follow. At this point, I asked one lady, sharing what I asked. Don't you think that if even you have lost every respect for him, his respect, the status he occupies as a husband, he needs that respect? And he said, well, I have not even thought about it.
There's nothing like that. Yeah. There's
yes.
nothing like that.
Yes. So I was telling her, I think that your husband needs the respect that must be accrued, that must be given to him for just the status of a husband. I asked a lot of questions. One woman said, my husband has not paid the children's fees for 2 years. And I said, but for 15 years he was paying. She said yes. I said, so what is your difficulty? Can't you pay for 2 years?
She's broke.
The lady is not broke.
No, I'm talking about in some instances, this woman who is complaining that somebody has paid fees for 15 years, she herself, she's broke. I'm not talking about your case. Yeah. But I mean that most of the women who end up attacking this men, sometimes they themselves...
Oh, yes,
yes. The painful thing is that you can do every good thing right for 20 years. But for 1 year...
When you are unable to...
You're all what you did for 20 years is forgotten.
But that is also the case with how we have been brought up.
No, but Mama T, do we forget that men are human beings too?
We don't. But you see, these upbringings and socialization, they are so deeply entrenched, and so that is what we have been told. And so over the years, women feel that it is their husband's duty. Why can't it be our duty?
They feel entitled.
Absolutely,
that's the word.
Yeah. So why can't it be our duty? And that is true. I think I said it some time ago. When a man does something for 15 years or 20 years, he may grumble a bit sometimes under his throat. Nobody hears. But let your wife do it for 3 years and get to know that the whole world will hear about it, because we
are her job.
Yes, it is not my job. 3 years cry is too far. I have noticed. I lived in a very big compound house, so I observed a lot of things, and then going out last week to ask questions. And so sometimes telling women that I need a peace of mind to be able to think. A man is asking me, just when I get home, just when I enter the hall, my wife is bringing me bills, and I'm telling her, sister, let me rest. We will talk about this. And she's saying, let's talk about it. I may tend to I will forget to. And so then she's doing everything. Eventually, she's not even serving food. A man told me, I am just telling you that, come and see the kind of
utensils
that my wife crockery. I'm trying to look for the English that I'm served food with. And sometimes I feel like I am the house boy. Even a house boy deserves better than that, because I did not pay money for the food. Look at where a man has not been able to give chop money for 2 months. So his wife will cook and eat all the food with the children and leave him hanging. And so these are the things I found out. I mean, the sex thing area, don't go there, because she is angry. So when she's angry, her whole system is shut up. And when the whole system shuts off like that, sex is not on her mind. And I got a little sad at a point, because women were talking, men were talking, and I was very, very sad at a point. Then where comes companionship? Then where is friendship? Then why are we here?
Where is the support?
Yes, is it only for us to make children? Because interestingly, a lot of both of them were saying that, well, marriage is to make children at the point where a man, you are old enough, you have a job, the next thing to do is to have a wife. So you notice that the whole thing around marriage and everything,
it's a
lost
process.
on them.
It's a process you have to walk
make
through.
children, you cannot help the man
Yes.
take care
And
of.
so it's a lot of pain on when I heard men who are saying that I can't make money enough, but I am helping my wife out at home. Really, I can wash for her, not with a washing machine, wash her clothes so that she'll be her job is good, so she can at least go and come. I also bring some money, but not as much as she does, and that alone makes me a foolish man. Yes, that alone makes me a foolish. One man said, when my wife is leaving the house, she was leaving the house, and then the taps were off, so Ghana Water brought back what and then she's a lot of people were there. He called them kweku how you are
Debasing the man.
If you are degrading me altogether. The kind of voice, the kind of tone women speak to their husbands with, it is painful. It is so painful. Some of them were like, I don't have anything to say. After all, I've become a non-entity. I don't exist. And so I am just here. Can you imagine when a husband wished for death? That one day I just want to be going home and then my car will crash, then I will die, then she will be fine. This is what our husbands are suffering. This is what the pain our husbands. Somebody said, my wife now mothers me, and this mothering is not like she loves me or she's petting me or she's making me look like his child. So she's sending me on nonsense errands, and I am wondering.
Can you not simply say you will not go?
Hey. My first son will look at him and said, "Mommy, this one is not."
Do you know why they endure all of that nonsense? The first thing your pastor will do is tell you that you are a man.
So you should be going on.
If the marriage breaks, God will ask you.
So you should be going on all the nonsense errands.
So you sit down,
especially so when you are not asked to do it with respect.
That is why men
exacerbate the situation.
That is why men die.
Yeah.
No, please don't go. When they send you on those errands without respect, don't go. Nothing will happen.
Yes, nothing will happen.
You'll be deprived in many ways.
And especially when you are deprived in the bedroom because I sent you and didn't go. And you are the kind who is depressed, but that part of your life is not depressed. I mean, that area, some people, it is not depressed, so they still want. You can't believe that a man said that I have to sing lullaby for my wife to sleep small. And then later after 20 minutes you said, okay, now you come and please finish fast though. Finish fast though. This one is not like you are touching here, you are touching here. This one is not like you are touching here, you are touching here. Just be fast and let me. Somebody said that my wife will say, I am sleeping. When you came, I was asleep. I am sleeping. Listen, this part down here is for you. Do what you want and be fast about when you finish. Cover me with my cover cloth. I am asleep. Too much is happening. My worry is that till they begin to speak. I mean, till when would they keeping quiet and not saying anything because they still want to man up?
We need a helpline. We have done gender advocacy for women for decades. It is time
to start doing it for men. Will the men speak though? Yes. Mama T, so this answers the question you asked last week about whoever told men that having money makes you man enough. You would realize that in most of the instances you have given, it's because the men don't have it all. They are unable to provide as much as their women are pushing them to. And so when a man is wired and socialized to think that I need to have money to feel like a man, the instances you're giving just answer.
Yes, more so for a man whose wife receives a lot of salary, like her money is good enough, and so she feels that I don't need anything. Listen, for sisters, I keep saying it is not that I have money, I have everything, so I don't need anything. When I studied the whole when I got a whole understanding about who a husband is, I'm not talking about like who a husband is, the place of the head, that is the place of the head as in a husband in a home. I mean, it is a huge thing, and I am praying that someday in churches, some other places, pastors will be talking about this, counselors will be speaking about this, so that we would understand the place of a man. My lecturer said, have you ever seen anybody walking without a head? We have seen a lot of people, for lack of a better word, who is maimed, like Nenai Bakuniho or something, disabled somewhere, and the people are still functioning, they are moving, some are in wheelchairs, and they are still doing well. Have you seen anyone walking without a head? The role of the head is crucial. It is so important. And so I in fact, for last week, I didn't I was so disturbed. I got so sad. So let's see how we begin to help out.
A man looks for money so he can look after his family, his wife, children, and extended family. A woman looks for money to be independent of the man.
That's true. That one, there's no argument around it. It's so true. But I mean, but then it is not the whole, right?
Oh,
it is true, but not the whole.
Yes.
Because there are some
Not
women
entirely.
who
very
will
helpful.
support their husbands. I mean, I don't understand how we do these things, though.
Should I send you on an errand? Go to SNET. I had this argument with the SNET officials. Go to SNET. Go and sample next of kins and the distribution of benefits. Men have their wives as the first name and their children.
The women have their children.
The women have their children, no men.
It's okay. You push it. Think that was like
Me, plenty of women have their husbands.
Please, I said go to SNET. I asked the SNET officials, why is this so?
Ariel is on.
Ariel, let me come to you. We're
Sorry,
trying
I actually
to
lost you for some time.
Oh, sorry. We're trying to
Yeah.
have a conversation. We're imagining that we have a lot of sisters, sitting with us, and sisters to sisters conversation. And
Yeah.
the men have
Yeah.
told us that we are killing them. And for those of us who, have a little bit of experience and knowledge, we're trying also to tell our women what they should do to be able to excite their men a little bit and keep them sane. Share some points with us.
Okay. Good morning.
Good morning.
Morning.
Edem, I'm in your hometown in Hoho, and I can't speak the language. You have to teach me.
I got you.
Yeah, interesting submissions this morning, and I flow a lot with what Kobe said and what Kofi also said.
Great.
And to add on to what Mama T is also saying, the problem, as Kofi said, is communication. And I think we have been brought up to react instead of responding. So a lot of women think if he's not communicating and I'm not getting what I want, I need to, react for him to see that this is worrying me. So we react more than becoming a bit conscious. And that is what I try to bring across a lot of women. You will need to have conscious communication. You need to be intentional and deliberate in your act and do everything with a purpose. But because of our orientation, he's not talking to me and I'm trying to get information. So we nag and we become unhappy. But when two people are all unwell, then there's no solution. And so it's important for us to get to know our men and understand where they are coming from as women. What is happening to my man? Why is he not talking to me? Why is he not sharing this? When his mood is changing, you need to see that this is not the man I married 5 years ago. Something is not going well with him. And when we start looking at things that bothers people as part of health and not just having malaria, having hypertension or diabetes, to see that when somebody's mood is changing, it also qualifies as a health situation. We just think, oh, why am I mooding today? It doesn't matter. I can just act the way I act. But at that time, you see your man changing in certain characteristics, you should know that then he's dealing with something. The fact that he hasn't been able to tell you does not mean he may not need your help, or does not mean it's because of you. So this is another problem. Women think as soon as a man's mood changes, I'm the reason. And so I haven't done anything. So then I have to justify myself and nag and throw a tantrum because and you are acting up. But sometimes it's not about you. So when we see these changes in men, we need to be conscious on the way we communicate with them in order to find what is going on. And as I shared last week, a man who doesn't feel safe with a woman, who feels this woman will judge me and say me, call me all kinds of names that are stereotyped as a man, I mean, in a setting, I won't share my fears with her. I won't share my worries with her. So becoming intentional and deliberate as a woman to see more than just what is on the surface is key. And something we need to know. Now, another thing is the fact that somebody is angry does not require you to act in an angry way. And that is where I always say that well-being is a choice for each and everyone. Your husband may come from work with maybe some issue, or may come from maybe dealing with some stress or something, and he's not acting the way you want. Does not mean you have to react and respond the same way. Remembering that the fact that he is in that space does not mean I have to also be in that same space. It's the beginning of being conscious for me. So he's angry, but he might be dealing with something. And his anger doesn't have to be about me. So should I also respond in anger? When we start looking at things in a more enlightened or a more conscious way, our reaction and our responses will change. And affection is key to men, but they are unable to let you know maybe how to meet that affection. But you need to know your man's love language as a woman. What is his love language and how can I meet it? Appreciation is also a very important thing as women we need to know when it comes to men. No matter how small what he's doing, if you are not showing appreciation, you are actually crushing him. He doesn't know how to go on again and get what you want. So the little he can do, he wants you to appreciate it in a way that he feels like my wife really, or my woman really sees what I have done. Now, when this appreciation is gone, you are actually demoralizing the man. He doesn't feel inspired. He doesn't feel seen. And it can actually be the cause of where his mental health problem starts from. Appreciation is very, very important. So important for us, even human beings. It's one of the needs women also want. That, oh, I'm taking care of the children and blah, 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 so I need appreciation. Appreciation is key. Wherever your man is, that's where he is. Try to meet him there by appreciating what he can do at that time. Because as you're saying, if he can do all that you want, he would have done it. So what he's doing is what he's able to do at that time. He needs your appreciation. He needs your support and acceptance. Men need to feel accepted. Acceptance is key for every human being needs. When a man doesn't feel accepted, like begging for sex, obviously means there's no acceptance in this marriage for me. And that leads them down that, road of going into a mental state of unhappiness, overwhelmed, depression, anxiety, and all that. So we need to start looking at the thing from a more holistic perspective. The man is having issues does not mean it's about you, one. And does not mean because he hasn't communicated to you the way you want it, you should act up. So we need to become a bit more intentional as women that I'm trying to get something from my man. He's not giving it to me the way I want. How do I go about it? And some of the tools I share is even how you welcome them home. It's, surprising them with unexpected small gifts to make them feel warm. Or a back rub, rubbing their feet, asking them about the highs and lows of their day. So there needs to be this intention that you have that I'm trying to reach something. I'm trying to reach a man who is not ready to open up. And that will help you to do that. So women, there's a lot of work we have to do. And for me, it's more about how you are taking care of yourself so that you'll be able to meet the things that comes to you. And that is why my master classes are so important to me. If you are unwell and your man is unwell, both of you cannot help each other. And if you want to help your man, then you need to help yourself to get your mental well-being right so that when he is out of balance or he is facing any challenges, you'll be able to also support him. And friendship is very important, as Kofi also said. Friendship is so important. But sometimes when we marry, we forget the friendship that brought us together. And it's all about the fridge, the children, the shoes, the house, the rent, the car, all that. And then we lose friendship. We don't have any conversations anymore. So it's important that we create a friendship aside the marriage. The friendship is what brought you together to create the marriage. It's important to create friendship. And this cannot be done when you are unconscious and you are reacting and you are responding to old patterns, as Mama T said, that you have picked up from growing up. The things we saw, sometimes we think that is the way it's supposed to be. We need to ask yourself, what I'm doing, what result is it giving me? Is it serving my needs now? When you start putting the work on yourself that I want a different result in my marriage, I'm doing something I thought I should do. It's not serving me. It's not giving me the results I want. So what can I change? Then you start becoming conscious to know how to handle things that comes up in the relationship. And friendship is one. If you are able to maintain friendship, you'll be able to get across to help your man when he's dealing with any issue.
I am so happy this morning because we're getting somewhere with this conversation, honestly. We're getting somewhere with this conversation, and I'm sure that the men are happy, but their happiness will be made whole if we, the women, we are actually listening and planning that or thinking that we are going to put this into use. Because honestly, why would you want to create such a confused space for yourself and for your partner? It begs, the question that Kobe posed last week, or was it a statement he made about, again, I talked about it this morning earlier, how people end up with people who don't love them. Because if you don't love the person, then there's not much you want to do. If they are not okay, you are not okay. It's your business. If you're not talking, be there, But if you love the person and your heart has really gone out to the person, then you are concerned. Then their happiness is important to you. I mean, this is not saying that we have lost sight of the fact that some women have also grown to be bitter.
Oh yes,
and hurt,
very bitter,
and can't even bring themselves around because of how terribly they have been treated. We're not losing sight of that. That's a conversation for another day. But
another day,
exactly. But for this kind of situation that we are looking at, where, like Mama T was saying,
the man is doing everything right.
They're trying.
Or trying.
They're trying. They are trying. And because it doesn't meet up the standards that you don't have. No, the standards you don't have it. But you are looking at somebody
you're
and you have set
expecting
it.
for him.
They have set it for themselves.
They want a lifestyle their fathers couldn't give them.
Exactly.
So, and they themselves can't fund for themselves.
Thank you.
And yet would
You are-
insult you and debase you
Can
and
you
humiliate
imagine
you
that?
because you can't give them their fantasy.
Exactly.
No.
So Edem, generally
Yes.
women have to set realistic expectations for themselves and for their husbands and for the family. I mean, as I said after the show last week, not every man is going to be able to buy or build a house.
True.
In their lifetime.
Yes.
Not every man is going to be able to buy their wife a car in their lifetime. Not every man is going to be able to send their children to a private school in their lifetime. And so much as you may, from the beginning of the marriage, you had a vision and you had all the, you expected things to work out very well, and sometimes even comparing to other people and the milestones that they have achieved, you want to be able to it's all fair, but realistically, will it happen for you? Probably not.
No.
And when that happens, don't blame the man, especially when there is all the evidence that he's working hard, he's trying so hard. You see it and you know it, but things just haven't fallen in place. Be patient. Keep supporting him. And again, Edem, we've talked about mutual support. Men also expect financial support. They're not saying that take up the bills or do everything, but at least bring what you make. Support me financially, or support the family financially. As he is doing typically the bulk of it, support him so he doesn't take all the stress, because when he's stressed, you get stressed too.
I think one day I have to try and invite my husband to be on this show, so there's no way he will ever come. But then I mean, that boy won't take any stress from anybody. Like, you know.
You can be God.
Ah, no. You can be anything or anybody. It is you. Hey, no. I'm sure the only thing that probably will stress him is, like some very important and basic things that he has committed himself to do. So I have children whose school fees I have to pay.
Yeah.
I have my wife that wants clothes or shoes.
That's secondary.
Why should that be my stress?
and he sees a wardrobe full of shoes already.
No, like, what is it? How is that part of his thinking? Seriously. The air conditioner is not working. And it must be fixed now.
But you see,
really?
like now.
Edem, you see that example you just cited?
Yeah.
The interesting thing is that it's a chicken and egg situation. When you make it a priority to make the man exceedingly happy and excited, the next thing he's thinking is, how do I make her happy?
Kobe, no.
And the next thing he's thinking is anticipating your needs. So he would have heard you pass a comment that I need this or I want this. Typically, he will not tell you I will do it, because he knows if I tell you I will do it, you are going to hold him by the neck for it. But he'll find when is the next occasion that I can surprise her with this.
This one doesn't function like that.
This one you are talking
This
about.
one, it doesn't function like that. And I'm talking about it in the context where we are putting undue pressure on the
him.
men.
Yeah.
You understand? He knows what he has to do.
Yes.
He will do it when he is able to do it.
Yeah.
He won't take the do it all from anybody.
No, because we set our priorities. You see, we are logical in our reasoning.
So exactly.
Yeah.
And so the moment you try to go on that tangent, like, you know, some men will become very frustrated and I'm not able to do this. He will so switch off. You know, I don't know how he does it, but over time,
Temperament is
you-
That's the
also part of
temperament.
it.
exactly,
Yes.
over
Temperament
time
is
you
also
come
part
to
of it.
realize that, listen, he knows I have to do A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H.
I'll do it.
I will do it when I am able to do it. I will not kill myself to do it.
I can't come and kill myself.
No.
Exactly.
Eventually it will be done. But as at when
In his own
In my
time.
own time.
not necessarily in his own time. Sometimes when they say in
Or
my own
at the
time,
right
At
time.
the right time. Yeah.
at the time when I am able to.
Too.
Especially so when it is not
Yeah.
like somebody is dying. You understand? If somebody is dying and you are putting
That one is
pressure
an
on them, it's a
emergency.
different
Nothing,
thing.
yeah.
But it's something that has to be done. I acknowledge it.
Yeah.
It's good. We need to do it.
So,
Okay,
so
good.
people are like that. They segment what is called a need
Oh yes.
and what is a want.
Exactly.
And a want.
And
Yeah,
once he
needs
decides
and
that
wants.
this is a want,
Initially,
you need a forklift or a motor grader.
No, I used to think that from the beginning. I used to think, okay, this person doesn't really care. Now I will cry any part. But I've just realized that is how he has safeguarded his mental health.
Yeah.
That is how. I mean, that is just how he has deliberately programmed and wired himself. That look, there are stresses,
To protect himself.
plenty things, and if you don't
Yeah.
take
Come and
care,
add some.
you will lose yourself
Yes.
trying to please
Exactly.
everybody.
Exactly.
So, which one is a need? It's important. Let's take care of this. This one, I know it has to be done.
Let me
but
read to
I
you.
will do it when I am able to do it, and
Yes.
nobody should put any pressure on the person,
Exactly.
because the things that you need, we have tried to make sure that the needs have been met. So these ones that are, let's say, over the top a little luxuries here and there, we will do it
Give me
when we
time.
can, and we move forward.
Simple
Eventually,
like that.
the family, everybody is aligned, and you won't put any pressure
Pressure
on him.
Yeah.
And I think that too many men allow themselves to be zoned into
that.
this
Yes.
because the woman says it has
I
to be
want
done.
this and it must
Let's do it. Let's push for it. And then he feels like if I don't do it, then I am not man enough. Then he is in the trenches, bushes, everywhere. By the time you realize you are knocked
It
off.
depends on the
Yes,
kind of senior
different kinds of-
housemaster you have.
No, I think men. I don't know, but I think men should learn it. If if you are an irresponsible man, this
conversation is not for irresponsible men.
Exactly.
Me, I don't support irresponsible men.
Yes.
And I've said it on this program that listen, if a man is irresponsible, I don't expect even his children to look after him when he's old. Because you can't sow something, you can't choose not to sow, but expect to reap.
Great.
So who should look after your children for you to come and reap?
That's it.
I don't support that one. We are talking of men who are responsible, are doing their utmost best, and yet they have unappreciative women who decide to steal their peace and give them mental conditions. Now, there are 7 broad ranges of mental health.
Please hold that for me. I will come to you shortly. This is a very interesting conversation we're having. But the Yum Vitamin infant cereal with milk is fortified with Nutri-V, which contains 6 essential vitamins and minerals, including zinc, iron, calcium, to aid in baby's healthy growth. It comes in 3 delicious flavors: maize and wheat, rice and wheat variants, and 3 unique pack sizes: 50 gram, 400 gram, and 350 block bottom pouch. Get the pack size that best suits your family needs. Yum Vita, a delicious way to grow. And go ahead and enrich your breakfast with the nourishing goodness of Dano Milk Cool Cow Instant Powdered Milk. The rich taste of Dano Milk makes a perfect combination with your tea, oats, cocoa, and others to give you that great tasting breakfast you've always desired. Dano Milk Cool Cow is fortified with vitamin A and is also a good source of protein and nutrients as vitamin B12 and iodine to help keep you nourished and strong always. Dano Milk is affordable and in a shop near you. Choose Dano Milk today for your nourishment and build your strength every day. Dano Milk, go for it. And this advert is FDA approved. And when we talk of spices, then it is the Sankofa natural spices made in Ghana with no chemicals. Remember, Sankofa natural spices is 100% natural, no salt, no sugar, no chemicals, and no monosodium. So why would you even go add chemicals to your spices when our fathers and mothers of old didn't do it? And reasons they're living so healthy. Remember, too much salt and sugar and chemicals are not good for your body, and that is why we recommend Sankofa natural spices to you. It comes in different variants: jollof, stew, fish, soup, chicken, beef, curry, ginger, and garlic. You also have it in spaghetti and noodles. The price is also very affordable. Don't play with your health and your life. Choose Sankofa natural spices for your tasty and healthy meals. Sankofa natural spices, DDEA, and for bulk purchase you can call 0555 603143. Number again is 0555603143. Remember, your health is your wealth. Sankofa natural spices. DDEA, mufanye jane mam ye mukunu boys no mo ninja. Mama mo stress yo. Okay, Kobe, you're going to make a point. I'll give you like a minute to do that.
Yes, I was going to say that there are different kinds of mental disorders that we go through. And broadly, they are categorized into 7. They are anxiety disorders. So when the guy's salary is not enough and he knows he has so much bills to pay, and he's anticipating a marriage atta who is going to give him hell, he becomes anxious. That is when they get into panic attacks and all those. Then there are mood disorders. So then the person begins to switch moods and go into moods. Yes. And that is where depression sits. Then there are psychotic disorders. Where it gets to a certain point, the person begins to hallucinate, begins to see things. And those things come in when the man begins to suspect that because I can't provide for you, you are sleeping with men. So now every move you make is a calculated one. And he begins to go through that. More so if you've cheated before and he's caught you. He will see things that do not exist as if they exist. Then there are eating disorders. Either they are unable to eat or they eat too much.
The too much eating is too much money.
Then there are personality disorders. Now this one, a lot of men have it, but a lot of women too. It is the personality disorder that causes it.
Okay.
Like bipolar. Another one I have recently read about is what's the name?
We're fast running out of time. So
then there's dementia, and the last one is autism. But the most popular you find,
especially
in these relationships, are anxiety, mood, personality, and psychotic disorders.
Okay, great. Now I'll give all of us about one minute before we close. But good morning, Edem and Co. Thanks for the program you're having this morning. I can imagine how many homes you guys are helping simply by having this conversation. I have been a migraine sufferer for over 30 years. One of the things I'm told is not to think or stress too much. But how realistic is that when you're supposed to be the husband, the father, the son, the brother, the uncle, the friend, all in one, and yet have a little or absolutely no source of income financially to meet those demands, little or absolutely no shoulder to cry on as a man, to pay for that little shoulder that might come your way to cry on from nothing. So my point is, since society has given us a bar to jump over, we should also be given the cushion from which we have to jump off from. The same space or platform where we men will be everything realistically, including managing whatever stress our women will give us. This is from William in Gomwa. Okay, acknowledge. I know you don't know me, nor have you heard about me, but everything said on the show this morning is exactly what I am going through. But I have to keep quiet and swallow everything because I don't want to be a laughing stock. But the pain of a stressful marriage. Another one here says that the most depressing statement a man want to hear from a woman he has married is, "You're irresponsible, not caring, useless," just because circumstances have changed through no fault of yours and you're not able to provide as you used to. I was working in one of the banks, and if I tell you what myself and some of my friends have been through since 2017 till now as a result of the banking cleanup consequences, you have no idea. And sadly, some have died. This is from Michael in Adenta. Edem, women generally over-communicate their feelings and men under-communicate theirs. Sometimes in order to maintain peace, men become reticent about their feelings. Women should appreciate this and moderate their criticism of men and expression of the feelings. This is from Julius. And Edem, I believe this discourse is for me. Although I am not married to this lady and it's just a baby mama thing, I have been so frustrated by her actions that we haven't even had sex since her pregnancy was 7 months. And now our child is a year old. She totally disrespects me, even though I provide for them financially. Edem, this thing is drowning me gradually. I'm sorry to hear that. I am a teacher and have to come home almost every 3 weeks to check up on them. This is from Stephen.
Tell him that I said he's lucky. He should run as fast as his legs will carry him.
In my SNIT office, there's something on SNIT.
Someone says in my SNIT office staff. Okay, in my SNIT office, came to verify your documents, and most of the ladies, about 10, all had only their children. Only 2 had the name of their husbands. I saw the forms, and this officer had to spend about 2 hours for only 2 to add the husband.
Wow.
This is from
you see the sampling.
Okay, let me read the last good morning to everyone. I am a man.
Men should advise themselves.
And the day I saw my wife's SNIT's beneficiary, I was amazed. Women have a mindset about their husbands. Have money today, you are the best. When you're down financially,
you
and
are
they
the
feel
worst.
they have been doing everything, it hurts when wives determine how you should have sex with them, where you can touch and not, would not. Okay, yeah. So as for this knitting, me, I think that my husband actually did say that use the children.
When you're guilty.
Oh, I'm not. This is not. So when I was filling the form, you take it, he says, "Oh, Master, I beg you, use the kiddies, use of your money, how much?"
Anyway, that's true. Yeah.
You understand? So when the man, you have this conversation and the man says, "Oh, use the children," you don't have an issue with that, you know. So I mean, it depends. Some women have their children on maybe with the permission
have their husbands.
So you can't box all of them up. Anyway, 1 minute each, and we are going.
So, Edem, generally, men struggle to achieve the ideal or optimum work-life balance, and that can also be a problem because then he's working so hard, trying so hard to meet the financial needs of the home, and then the wife complains that, oh, you're not spending enough time at home, and blah 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 and blah blah blah. But men derive their sense of being, their self-worth from work. Because we want to be able to provide. And that is what sends men out trying to do everything. And that is why men become depressed when they can't meet the needs of the home. Sure. And so our wives and female partners ought to understand, support us when we're doing the right things. And then when things are not working out, keep supporting us in every way that you can.
Amen. It's in order. Mama T.
I am wondering what women gain from stressing their men to the point of depression, even to the point of death. One man said, if you see a man crying, one of two things have happened. It's either the wife has cheated or his business is not doing well. And the in thing now in recent times is adultery on the side of women. And so husbands are in a lot of pain. Let me finish. I listened to a woman who was saying that, well, my husband doesn't have money these days, and so I have a boyfriend, and my husband sometimes have to pound the fufu for me to go and
give to the boyfriend.
to go and give to the boyfriend. I am saying that we can change these narratives if we want to. Sisters, we can. Let us decide to make our home better. We can.
Thank you. Hobby.
I would preach self-love. It is time men began to take care of themselves. Because the woman you are killing yourself for, the next minute
we are trying to build a home here.
She jumps and is gone.
To the next
Take
man.
care of your mental health. Because as soon as you go mad, give yourself 6 months. She's married to someone else.
The woman
Don't
do
go
that
mad.
much.
Don't go mad.
Thank you.
Don't kill yourself.
Don't kill yourself.
Please, but do the best you can do for your family.
Yes.
Love
Don't
yourself, but love your family too.
Yeah.
Ariel, please, we'll take your... Oh, okay, we don't have Ariel on. Let me quickly read this. My lovely husband, Mr. Adolf Ni Ama, and my adorable child, Ariela Ama, your daughters, Brenda Ama, Kimberly Ama, and I, your princess, would like to wish you all a super joyful and a blissful birthday as you all welcome another blessed year today. Hey, wow. Have fun and be assured that we will always be there for you all. You rock our world and we love you. And today happens to be the 40th birthday of Anne Euphemia Anne Maria Martin. Happy birthday to you, girl. Indeed, you are a blessed child of God. But we're ending this conversation right now. What it is that we're planning how do you call it, a forum, right? And the theme is conscious coupling. If you know what that is, right? That's what we are planning, and we're going to have series of conversations around it. And so just stay tuned for the information. It's going to be an in-person thing. You can come if you want to. So conscious coupling specifically refers to the steps an individual takes to maintain a healthy relationship with their partner. That is what it means. We may be dealing with topics like dealing with friendship. How do you know that he or she loves me? Keeping a man and keeping a woman. And that's going to be real talk. And how do I know he loves me? We're going to, build a lot of conversations around these things, and we'll spend time to have them. So we will update you on how all of these pan out. But looking at the conversations we're having and things that people are going through, it's important that we spend time to let people know. And when I go out and I meet people, I'm sure you all also do. You go out, you meet people, they tell you, wow, Home Affairs is really changing homes, it's really doing this and all that. Sometimes very mature people who tell you they don't miss the show. And I am very surprised, So we will do all of these to make sure that, look, we live our mandate, which is to make homes out of houses. But I want to say a very big thank you to all of you for doing the listening. Monday, we have the Drive Time Sip and Paint, show coming up. So we want to see all of you at the Villandro. Come in, but you need to pay 120 Ghana cedis. If you want a ticket, you can just send I want to attend, just send Sip and Paint to 05511119997. We will send you the Momo number so that you can pay. You have up to close of tomorrow afternoon thereabout to pay, because the show is on the program is, you know, on Monday. We have a lot of people, but you can still join us and have fun on the Monday. But thank you very much. It's the Weekend City Show team here. All right, we are out of here. I'm breaking my own rules. I